Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new. Thank you for being here. So I'm gonna start this video off by saying that I really don't like to put negativity out into the world in general. Also on my channel, like I really try to keep it positive, but without the BS. You know, it's a delicate balance. I don't want to pretend like everything's cotton candy and rainbows, but at the same time, I really want to keep it real with you guys and let you know, my experience with car camping everywhere I go. And I ended up in the worst city that I have been in since I started car camping or traveling, period. And that is Salem, Oregon. Pardon me. If you live in Salem, Oregon, I am by no means trying to talk trash. I am by no means trying to disrespect the city of Salem, Oregon. I am just going to give a true recollection of the events that occurred whilst I was there, which was 24 hours, not even. And I had planned on being in Salem for a few days. Like I planned on being there, a little bit, filming a couple videos, exploring, and no, it did not happen that way. So it was almost from, as soon as I got to Salem that I could just, I could just feel the energy of the city. And there's always a chance that you come into a bad area. That did happen once before in Rochester. I'll say I came in to the city in a bad area and I was super sketched out and I almost left. I ended up staying, finding a good area, and I loved it. It was one of my favorite places I was in last year in the fall. That was not the case with Salem, unfortunately. So the first place we ended up was, I went to a cemetery. For those of you who don't know, I love visiting cemeteries in a new town. It was called Lee Mission Cemetery. And almost as soon as I got out of the car, another car pulls up behind me. There's not a nice way to say this, 2 crackheads got out, and one of them just started yelling like 5 or 6 names repeatedly. Like the only one that I remember was Short Stack. Just like blah, 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 short stack, blah, 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 short stack, blah, 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 short stack. All of these cats start coming out of the woods, and that just like threw me off immediately. Like I don't know, it just seemed like she was on something, how fast she was talking and how worked up she was. But whatever, people are on drugs everywhere, so I just walked away from them and kept walking around the cemetery. There's clothes all over. You could tell that like people are living there at night or had been there or whatnot. And then I came across a dead rat, which was freaking weird because like, when do you ever see a dead rat? Like the body was still there. What would kill it? I don't know. It just looked like somebody sacrificed it. Like that's the vibe I felt, and I am not kidding. Like why is there a dead rat randomly here? If something would have killed it, it would have like taken it off to eat it, or I don't know. That was just part of the vibe. I'm just painting a picture for you guys. So bad vibes. I left. I ended up finding a neighborhood right near the cemetery, which was the only safe place I found in the time that I was there. It was like a 4-block radius near that cemetery, and it was just a cute, peaceful, safe feeling neighborhood. So I walked to it's there, and from there, you guys see a little bit in my last video, the Walmart had like not only security but also police cars in and out of the parking lot, which that is not a good sign. That did happen in Rochester and Asheville. I lived in Asheville for a while, and that happened there too. There are certain things, that you can take as triggers for the area, and police patrolling a Walmart parking lot is one of them. So I ended up going to a McDonald's because the Walmart parking lot was so sketchy. homeless there, and that was where it first started to get like quite intense feeling. There was a homeless guy that ended up right behind my car, and I got a little video clip of how scary he was sounding, because it was, I mean, it was scary. It was scary to the point that I didn't even want to move my car because I didn't even want him to look at me. I had my window covers up, so I was gonna have to take them off, and I just felt like he was gonna see me, and like maybe I was gonna spook him, or I don't know, but that's how scared I was. Like, I didn't even want to take my covers off and move my car, but I was like, I have to get out of here. This is not safe, because he was literally in full like schizophrenic meth head level, like hysteria. I don't know how else to say it, hysteria. And the things he was saying were just terrifying. Add that to the fact that he's literally right behind my car. Yeah, so I'll insert that clip here.
I'm enemy of America. That I'm going to take all funds and all money you made me fucking child porn star to be kicked and beaten to death by a selfish FBI and stuff poor president who's trying to lie to little kids and teach us about terror, mother, look, good life, and then you hate crime to your fuck country and all your families. I'm going to serial kill you all fucking fucking stupid thing. You're trying to get this dude, this stupid crazy bro. I'm gonna break into everyone in this fucking house with machetes, fucking sharp items, and fucking poisoning serial killers. You hate crime against American bitches, like fucking County Home, and police officers, and everything they fucking stand for, like fucking Lively and Sunriver.
Then we went to the hotel. The hotel was fine. There were still homeless people walking around on the street, but I mean, that's, you know, it's gonna happen. I didn't feel unsafe at the hotel because there were lots of cars there, and I just feel like hotel parking lots are monitored more closely in general. The reason that I didn't end up filming all of this negativity, just little snippets, was because whenever I was in that environment, I did not feel safe. I couldn't concentrate. I needed to have my wits about me. I needed to be on high alert. So the next morning we ended up going to the Capitol. The Capitol was fine. That area felt more safe. There was a police officer parked outside of the Capitol, but I was honestly just really disappointed with the Capitol itself. Like, every other one that I've been to has like a nice lawn, a walking area, something. And this one was just like a building. It didn't even look like the Capitol to me. There was no like space to it. It was under construction, and you could basically just pass by it. And all of the parking around in that area was paid parking. So we didn't stay long there. I needed to go to a park to get in a good walk for Toots and myself, and so I ended up Googling best parks in Salem, which is what I always do whenever I get to a new area. The Riverfront City Park came up as like the #1 park. So we went there. So whenever we got to the park, that's whenever I realized that I did not feel safe in Salem. Like, I had been getting little doses of unsafety and negativity, and whenever we got to that park, that's whenever it hit peak unsafe levels. The parking area where we pulled into was literally at a, what would you call it, camp for homeless. A huge camp with, like, they had fires going. There was, I mean, I don't know how many tents. It was a huge area. There was a guy ferociously hacking away at something with an axe or a sledgehammer. I don't know what it was. I did get a little snippet just because I wanted you guys to have an idea, and so I'll insert that right here. Yes, I felt very unsafe. I didn't even want to get out of my car, leave my car. Literally, that's at the parking area for this park, is this huge homeless camp. And so I was like, fuck, like, okay, all right, I'm just gonna leave my car right here next to this. But we were already there and we both needed a walk. So we go into the park, and honestly, the park itself was pretty. It's on the river. It's a nice big park with trails. Pretty park. Completely unsafe. Just homeless everywhere. You know it's bad whenever you are in an area and you feel outnumbered by the homeless. I started to feel like a target. And I am not somebody who has not lived in areas or been around areas that have homeless people at all. I lived in Austin for 3 years in a semi-sketch area off of South Lamar near Target. If you know Austin, then you know where I'm talking about. They have quite a bad homeless problem there. But it's more contained. I feel like you don't just see them everywhere you go, which is how I felt in Salem. And I don't mean to talk shit about homeless people, truly. Like, I really empathize. I give money and food whenever I can. But at the end of the day, I'm a female traveling alone, and I would say about 90%, 85-90% of homeless people either have severe mental health issues or have some kind of addiction going on, which makes them desperate, or they're starving, which makes them desperate. And those are things that make it unsafe to be around someone who is desperate or not in their right mind. So anyways, we were at the park. I was just gonna make the best of it. I saw a river trail off to the side that went along the river and through the woods, and I thought that sounded nice, so I went that way. And that was a mistake. That I should not have done that. Not already walking into the park and seeing how many homeless people there were around. But I did it. I was almost trying to prove myself, okay, you can find like one moment of enjoyment. You're gonna go on this nice trail and you're gonna have a good time, and then you can leave, and that can be that. No, it was like from the moment I got on the trail, I knew I had made a mistake, and the universe was trying to like tell me to turn around and get out of there. I turned onto the trail, and there's a homeless guy like right at the head of the trail, which right then I shouldn't have went on the trail at all. I should have turned around. It was going to be very blatant that I was turning around to avoid him, because just the location of it, like I was already into the woods and like starting the trail. So to turn around at that point would have been very blatant that I was almost like running from him. So I also thought that might, piss him off. Who, what's wrong with her? Why is she running away? Like, why is she turn around? Oh, I'm gonna scare her. Is she scared? Like, it was just so much going through my head that day. But I continued on the trail, and he was going the opposite way. So we went on our way into the trail, and just, you could tell that it was just corroded, that it was not for hiking. It was for people who went to live back there. There were little pockets here and there where you would just see clothes, cigarettes, alcohol. There were tampons back there. I got to a point that I finally turned around whenever I came across a tourniquet. Yeah, I was just like, this is enough. I got like maybe like a quarter mile in. So I tried to actually cut through the woods to get out as quick as I could, because I didn't want to turn around and have to walk all the way back. I just felt so creeped out, and I was getting further in, and I knew there were people like in the woods, and yeah, so I tried to just cut through the woods and get back to the main park area, the open main park area. And on the little path that cut through was somebody's like home, and they were tucked in there. And so I was like, shit. So I turned around and I just had to take the trail back. So I'm walking on the trail, I'm getting near the end, and I see a homeless guy riding his bike past, headed to another trail that merged with this one. And he sees me, then pulls a Yui and heads down the trail that I'm on. And I was just like, God damn it. I did have a knife in my pocket. I should have taken, I mean, knife is just not ideal. You have to be very close. I don't want to stab somebody. I should have probably taken my bear spray. You know, can keep some distance and still injure somebody. But yeah, so he, of course, comes right over to me within, I would say, 2 feet of me. And he could see that I was uncomfortable or angry. At that point, I think I had gotten angry because whenever I feel like in danger and I have toots with me and I'm a female alone, like I deal with this on quite a regular basis. Whenever I am vulnerable, I get angry. I don't get scared, I get angry. And he saw the look on my face and he was like, "Are you okay?" And the bigger part of me wanted to go off on him and say, "No, I'm not okay. You just followed me down this trail. You were going another way. You turned around and saw a female alone on a trail and went, and you are now within 2 feet of her in the middle of the woods. No, I'm not okay." I wanted to be a bitch. And instead, I gritted my teeth and I said, "Yes, I'm fine." And I walked off. And thankfully he didn't follow me or say anything else. We got out to the main park area and I just felt like an idiot. I felt like, why did you just do that? You just put yourself and toots. Like, I don't, like, yes, I don't want anything to happen to me. I don't want to get raped or murdered out in the woods. But like, I just felt like I had put Toots, which is my dog, for you guys who don't know, she's 15 years old, Shih Tzu. She's sleeping right now. Otherwise I would wake her up and give her a moment. But I was just so mad at myself, and then it just, all of the emotions of it started to hit me, like the fear, the vulnerability, the anger, disappointment with myself and putting Toots in danger, empathy for the homeless, having to live that way and being looked at by normal people like they're, you know, something to be feared. And yeah, I literally just started bawling in the park. Like, I kept trying to hold it back because I did not want to seem like more of a target, like crying in the park. But I just, yeah, I was completely overwhelmed and it just all hit me at once. And so I called my mom, and which I hate to do because she already doesn't like this lifestyle that I live, you know, living out of my car, you know, what parent would. Yeah, and I just kind of, yeah, told her what had happened and talked until I calmed down. And at that point I had made up my mind I was out of there. So after we left the park, we went to Lowe's. There was a Lowe's not far. That's typically some place that I consider like safe. So I went in and used the restroom, and I was gonna have lunch before we hit the road. So we were in the parking lot maybe 10 minutes, and I'm making myself some hot dogs, some veggie dogs, and literally I get a knock on my window. Now it was probably about 4 or 4:30 p.m. So that scared the shit out of me because I'm already on edge. Even in this Lowe's parking lot, there are homeless people passing by me nonstop. And so I'm just on high alert. You know, my nerves are shot. So that scared the shit out of me. It ended up being security for Lowe's. And he came over and was like, "Hey, are you shopping here? You know, like, what's going on? I see you're parked." And I was like, "Yeah, I just pulled over to eat and then I was gonna head out." And he was like, "Okay, that's fine." But I have never seen security at Lowe's. All of this is just, it all came together in the end, you know, like just everything. It's just not a safe area. It's just not somewhere I would ever go back. I would avoid it at all costs, honestly. For the freaking Lowe's to have security in the middle of the day, I mean, that just speaks for itself, you know. Also, we stopped at a Target at some point in the day before we left, and Another first I had never seen was Target. Now I have seen certain Walmarts do this with like crazy stuff, like freaking underwear or diapers, formula, all that kind of stuff, how they have it like locked up in glass cases. But I've never seen a Target do that, and this Target had everything locked up. Like, I mean, all of their kitchenware. Like, I was going to the grocery section. I just happened to walk by the kitchen section, and they had everything locked up. I think part of the reason it caught me off guard even more was because it's a capital city. I expected it to be like more, you know, that's a more touristy area. I would think. I was just thinking it was going to be safer or cleaner or whatnot, but it wasn't. It was the worst place I've been. It was unfortunate. So we ended up heading out. Literally, as soon as I left Salem and got on the highway, I felt like I could breathe again. Like, it had gotten so bad earlier in the day. I started having like mild chest pains from just like having like that anxiety where I just felt like I couldn't even take a full breath, because it was just like, you know, and maybe if I wasn't traveling alone, I wouldn't have felt everything so intensely. I mean, I still would not have wanted to be there, but maybe I wouldn't feel so vulnerable. That paired with, I do live in my car, you know, so literally a window, glass window is all that separates me from danger sometimes, and that can be a very intimidating thought, you know, especially at night whenever you're sleeping, you know, and somebody could literally just bust your window while you're sleeping. And as soon as I got on the highway, I just felt like I could breathe. I started playing music. I got so happy. I was just like, oh my God, I was just like out of it. I didn't realize how consumed I was like while I was in it until I got out. And we ended up going to a Love's that's like 15 minutes down the highway. I think it was in Millersburg. Yeah, Millersburg, I believe. But once I got to that Love's, oh my gosh, I just felt so safe and yeah, just like I could breathe again, and happy and relieved. And I told myself I will not make that same mistake again whenever I get a bad feeling like that. I mean, I left pretty quick, you know, less than 24 hours I was there, but still, I don't know. Now, the other thing that also was weighing very heavily on me that day was just seeing such a high homeless population. It was just, it's just sad. Like, you can't avoid the emotion of it, or at least I can't. I was sad, you know, for the way they were living, and I was sad for how I was looking at them and feeling towards them. But it comes from a place of me needing to feel safe, number one, but still it feels shitty to have to avoid eye contact with people, or avoid looking at them, or thinking the worst, thinking, are they gonna rob me, are they gonna, you know, because they are people. Oh gosh, I'm not going to cry. This is why I didn't film the video that day, because I almost started to, because I was like, oh, let me film this while I'm in it, so, you know, it can be my most honest reaction. And I just knew that I would not be able to keep it together for the video. I knew I was gonna end up crying and probably having a little meltdown. But I just kept thinking, you know, what really separates somebody who lives in their car from being homeless? Because I am technically homeless, and I wouldn't want people looking at me like I'm trash, like I'm dangerous, like there's something wrong with me because I'm living a certain way. And that's what I kept going back to that day. I was like, you know, I want to be empathetic, but the fear overtakes that, and my need to feel safe, you know. So yeah, that was just a rough day. There was so much emotion going on. But yeah, and I think that was part of why it just hit me so hard, because it's something I haven't dealt with, you know, had to deal with in years. There's no homeless people in Tyler, Texas, which is where I was for 4 years before I started traveling. There's just not. Like, East Texans are not gonna put up with that. Something you can only stick your head in the sand for so long before you're gonna come across that wall while you're traveling. And boy did I. So I've just been trying to like take baby steps. Like today I passed like a couple homeless people, and you know, I'll try to smile. I never know if smiling at them is gonna piss them off or trigger them or whatnot, but like I said, I do what I can. I give money and food, and anytime I see somebody with a dog, I definitely want to stop, and I always give them like treats and water for the dog or whatnot. And it makes me appreciate what I have so much, you know, like everything. Because you never know how these people's life was, how they became homeless, where that story started, where that chapter started. You never know, you know? Like I said, I really, I don't like to be negative and talk about homeless people in a negative way or anything like that, but I just thought, you know what, maybe there's somebody who's going to watch this video who was planning to travel to Salem, and maybe they would end up in a situation where they weren't safe or something happened, you know. I just want to be honest about everywhere I go and give an accurate review, not just the positive, because there was no positive for Salem. Except for that little neighborhood. That neighborhood was my safe haven. That literally was the only place I felt safe the whole time I was there. It's just a nice, sweet little neighborhood. I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up, because honestly, I really didn't expect to have it hit me so hard again, those emotions. But that is what happened in Salem, and that is why there was no video for Salem, and why we will never go back to Salem. God bless it. Love and light to it. We are now in Eugene, Oregon. We've been here for 2 days. I love it. It's nice. It's safe. It's pretty. Are there homeless people? Yes. Have there been sketchy areas? Yes. Nowhere's perfect. I don't expect perfection. I just need to be able to have a safe place, you know, to leave an area that feels unsafe and go to a safe place, which is something I felt I could not do in Salem. I felt like I was running away from it, and then I would get to a new safe place spot, and then it was the same thing. It felt like I was, yeah, running in circles. Started to feel crazy, like, okay. But anyways, we are gonna have some videos from Eugene and Florence. We'll be getting to Florence. Florence is only an hour from here. We will definitely be heading there soon. That might be the next video. I don't even know, because it is a little warm here. It's 84 right now. And in Florence, which is the coast, the beach, it's like 62. That's the high. That sounds pretty nice to me. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I hope you, it feels so weird. I hope you took something from this video. I'm sure you didn't enjoy it, but I hope you took something from it. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye.